a renowned house where a famous musician once lived in towards the end of his life. This man's music has touched millions worldwide.
I would love to hear you sing again as a spirit if you're haunting here.
This house is in the process of being restored as a museum and cultural center.
Can you manifest your energy into this ghost meter and make it spike?
My name is Nicholas. I am a young paranormal investigator in search of proof of the spirit world. I am also a person that can easily sense and feel spirit energy around me. I am joined by my uncle and cameraman, William, and my father and executive producer, Nick. We will search for ghosts at some of the world's most creepiest haunts. This is a haunted legacy. The crew is driving to Dix Hills, Long Island, New York, to explore a renowned house where a famous musician once lived in towards the end of his life and has composed one of his classic albums. When we pulled up in the driveway, we all got out of our vehicle and started our investigation. Alright, so we're here in Dix Hills, New York now, and we're here at this beautiful home. This right here is the home of the legendary jazz musician John Coltrane. Now, he and his family lived here from 1964 until his death in 1967. And what makes this house special is that John Coltrane composed his masterwork, A Love Supreme, in his bedroom. His wife was Alice Coltrane, and they had 3 children, Robbie Coltrane and his 2 sisters. And I actually paid a visit to this house back in 2012 before we started our show for the very first time. So now we're going to do a search here to see if there's anything spiritual here, if it's possible. John Coltrane was born in Hamlet, North Carolina in 1926. In his day, John Coltrane played the saxophone for the majority of his life. His album, A Love Supreme, released in 1964, has 4 parts: Acknowledgement, Resolution, Pursuance, and Psalm. The first saxophone that he played was an alto saxophone that his mother gave him back in 1943. He also played the clarinet and the alto horn before switching over to the alto sax in school. In 1945, John Coltrane joined the U.S. Navy the same day that the United States had dropped their first atomic bomb on Japan. His musical talent was well recognized throughout the Navy, and this led to him becoming one of the few Navy men to serve as a musician without having been awarded musician's rating when he joined a group called the Melody Masters. This man's music has touched millions worldwide. John Coltrane ended up dying of liver cancer. This house is in the process of being restored as a museum and cultural center. Over these past few years, I have always wondered if John Coltrane's spirit has been wandering around this house. And now, it's time to find out. We were all planning to search inside the John Coltrane house too, thanks to my father Nick, who knew the home security system passcode. But unfortunately, the passcode has been changed, so we all had no choice but to search the outside of the house only. We began exploring in front of the house. I wasn't feeling, seeing, or hearing anything yet in front of the house. I then interviewed my Uncle William.
Uncle William, tell me what you know about John Coltrane. Anything that I haven't shared yet to the people? Like, how did you grow up with his music or anything?
No, I really wasn't into jazz that much. And at that time, I was just a little kid, didn't know really anything about music. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't.
You don't know anything about his life?
Well, I learned a little bit in school because I took a jazz class in college, but we went over just a broad thing about jazz. It wasn't.
Did you know that he lived on Long Island before?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go back to the back.
We now started our way to the back of the house to find the room where John Coltrane composed A Love Supreme.
Okay, now we're going to walk to the side of the house. Alright, so here's the back. And I think that's the room where he composed The Love Supreme.
That's the room right there.
My father Nick now shared with us what he knew about the life of John Coltrane.
Downstairs, those stairs lead to where John Coltrane had a recording studio.
Yeah, I know. Right. And in the attic, he had that carpet, right? Like he had that.
It wasn't in the attic, it was in the loft part of the house, an elevated room. And it was a meditation room.
Wow.
Once we found the room, I started our first EVP session. We weren't capturing any voices so far, so we continued on.
You guys stand back and film me with this. Alright, John Coltrane, are you here? This is my last time asking you questions. Do you want to sing A Love Supreme for me on the recorder? I would love to hear you sing again as a spirit if you're haunting here. Don't be afraid. You were a peacemaker yourself, John Coltrane, and we're peacemakers also. Let me see. I can't go on the stairs. That's cool, the basement. Look at that. Robbie Coltrane is his son, and he's still alive. And I think his two sisters are also.
I now reviewed our EVP sessions.
Let's play back the recording.
Alright, John Coltrane, are you here? This is my last time asking you questions. Do you want to sing A Love Supreme for me on the recorder? I would love to hear you sing again as a spirit if you're haunting here.
Nope. Nothing yet.
Who's that voice?
What?
What was that voice?
That's me on the recorder.
No, I heard
What?
another voice. Did you have something on your cell phone?
Another voice?
Like a lady talking.
Oh, I'll play it again. It's in slow motion.
Oh.
This?
Alright, yeah.
Oh.
Then unexpectedly, our investigation was interrupted by a random visitor. This person first parked next to our car and then had a conversation with all of us. In the midst of our chat, my Uncle William and I decided to finish up our ghost hunt here, while my father Nick continued talking to the man. We both did one last circle around the house. We peeked into some of the windows.
Can you go in the window? You want? Try to get into the window.
I squatted down near one of the boarded-up basement windows, and I held my ghost meter by it to see if I pick up a sudden spike.
I'm gonna try over here. Alice Coltrane. Where are you at? Nothing at all.
Nothing was happening in the area, so we carried on. Next, my Uncle William and I went into the back of the house once again. I now split from my uncle, and I spent the rest of our investigation by myself. I stood at the top of the basement stairwell with my ghost meter, and I waited to capture a piece of evidence.
Please communicate with me, either verbally or physically, with the ghost meter spiking. Can you manifest your energy into this ghost meter and make it spike?
As I was standing at the top of the stairs, my meter started to slightly sense a presence, and the needle began to rise.
Wow, look at that. I think it's rising a little bit as I'm talking. Isn't that cool? Because it's not all the way down at the bottom, it's slightly going up. John Coltrane, can you make this ghost meter rise a little bit? John Coltrane, please make this needle spike. Bring forward your energy in front of my face. Look at that. It's like halfway across the green. It's not like all the way at the bottom. See, it's like half green there and half green there. It's like right in the middle, so...
I strongly felt that this was something spiritual for us, and I am easily aware of what feels paranormal or not to me.
Not only did he compose a Love Supreme here, but he spent 3 years on Long Island before he died. And his family moved out of this house in 1973. So Alice Coltrane and his children were here 4 years after his death. Come on, John Coltrane. I'm Nicholas. I'm 19 years old now. I was here when I was 12, so can you talk into the recorder? Can you talk to a young investigator here? And his father and uncle? Let's check that again. Hear the birds?
Please bring forward the spirit of John Coltrane, please.
I would have loved to go inside. It's a shame. But these things happen, so nothing you can really do about it. Alright, now I'm going to remain silent. I've asked enough questions. Now I'm just going to stay silent and see if we get any voices. Oh look, the ghost meter is now almost at the yellow now. It's almost at the yellow once again. Alright, let's stay quiet the rest of the time. Alright, let's hear it.
Alright, now I'm gonna remain silent. I've asked enough questions. Now I'm just gonna stay silent and see if we get any voices. Look, the ghost meter is now...
Look, in case you see what I'm talking about. Before, the ghost meter was almost at the yellow, but now it's back to the end. When I was by the basement earlier, this needle was like halfway across the green. Now it's at the end, as you can see. So, that's pretty messed up. I don't know if that's from electrical wiring in the wall, but I had a feeling it was John Coltrane.
I started to walk to the front yard, and I used my meter one final time.
Now,
Then all of a sudden, this happens.
whoa, what's happening? What's this from? Oh, is this from the utility pole or something? Let me check. Just to make sure that's debunked or not. Yeah, it's from the utility pole. That's debunked.
This meter spike was debunked.
This doesn't only detect ghosts, it detects anything electromagnetic. So,
Then, our mission at the Coltrane home neared an end. So that's it for the John Coltrane home. And a little bit of energy was felt. I could feel his life in my mind and pictured what he was doing, such as playing the saxophone, and even his kids were running around. And that all came back to me. I didn't feel that this was my imagination. I felt that this was my conjecture as to what these spirits, if there are any here, are doing constantly. As for Alice Coltrane, I really didn't feel her presence, but that doesn't deny the fact that she could be here too. And I'm hoping that she heard me as well. So I'm glad that we all got a chance to revive John Coltrane's legacy. Let's hope that we really did reach out to the spirit of John Coltrane, and that he heard our questions and will eventually answer them. The story of John Coltrane is well remembered by hundreds of people from both the past and present, and around the time of his death, he and his family moved into this very house that we now investigated at. For the first portion of our hunt, we didn't receive anything supernatural, but as I stood near the basement stairwell in the backyard, my meter's needle began to move its way up, and it stopped halfway across the green. Although this may possibly be debunked, I felt that it was something. The best way I can describe it is someone moving up the stairwell and then just standing there, looking at me. When I first came to this house back in 2012, it appeared to me that it could potentially be inhabited by some type of spirit energy. We all had a mysterious mission here, and we're hoping that if John Coltrane's spirit is indeed here, that he eventually moves on and continues to play his music.